Welcome back. So today we're going to finish up that Bedford run, and I am going to show you two pieces that I bought that are staying with me. One surprised even me. Okay, when we come back. Okay, one of the things I did this time out at Bedford was I made a point of looking at some of the furniture pieces that were there. Now, ordinarily, I don't do that. I sort of focus on the smalls, the little things I can stick into my bag, take up to the register, take home, and move out in my Etsy shop. But because we've been looking at furniture at Love's, I wanted you to have a chance to see some really nice furniture, but these are much lower prices, much, much more affordable. Frankly, same quality. So as we go on this video, I will show you some pieces like that. First things first, that little shop where I'm always finding those adorable little Japanese import pieces. I saw a piece there that wasn't marked. If it's there the next time I go back, which will probably be the end of this week because there were a few things I did leave behind, I'm going to ask about what they want for it because it's just such a sweet mid-century piece. First thing I thought of when I saw this was Elvis Presley. Take a look. Take a look at this beautiful planter. Same shop that I've been getting all these little Japanese import pieces from. Unmarked, pink and black, so mid-century it's not even funny. No price. Love this piece. I may bring it down to the front and ask what they want for it. So what do you think? Did the pink and black say Elvis to you too? I was remembering that was when Elvis Presley was doing concerts, always the pink shirt and the black jeans. So I always associate that color combination with Elvis. And in fact, I had a house that was built in the middle of the 1950s, 1953, 54. And I had a pink and black bathroom. So, too bad I didn't see that planter then. But I do think I am going to ask about it the next time I'm back at Bedford because that is a nice mid-century piece. And I don't see too many of them that just shriek 1950s at me the way that one did. All right, this other one, this is the next piece coming up. This is not a piece in perfect condition. This is a piece that needs a little work, but it's relatively easy work. You can get information on how to do this on the internet. You can even get little kits that will tell you how. So let's take a quick look at this. Let's take a look at this piece. This is a caned rocker, seat and back. And here, as you can see, it's actually been caned. This is not set in seats or set in back. We've got some damage here. You notice the difference in the color between the back, which is damaged, and the seat, which is not. The seat is probably a newer replacement. Nevertheless, it was hand done. Now, let's go over here and take a look. Look at our spindles. Look at our little fluting. Look at our little Gothic design. All right, don't need to tell you what this is. Eastlake, right? $15. This is what I mean when I say we have some incredible furniture deals here in this area. $15 for a piece like that is amazing. That is a great little Eastlake cane chair, cane seat, cane back. The damage was very minor on the back. So in other words, that chair, that little rocker for $15 could go sit on your porch or something if you didn't mind that little bit of broken cane, or it could be a recaning project. Now, there are people who still do recaning. Over a year ago, I had talked about, and I'm still going to do this at some point, I hope. I have to get in and see how much of the stuff, once I start unpacking what's in the schoolhouse, which doesn't happen until the roof is fixed. But once I start unpacking, I need to see if I still have the caned chair and, of course, the package of caning, because that is a project I am planning to do for us at some point. And when I had mentioned that, one of our viewers had written in and said, I do that. That's my hobby. I do that for people. You know, they want something recaned, I'll do it. So it's no longer what I once thought of as a lost art. Nevertheless, for $15, yeah, of course I would grab a piece like that and stick it on the porch. I would grab a piece like that and recane it, you know, because other than the caning, piece is in great condition. And at $15, how can you complain? So I wanted you to see those deals are there. Plus, there are a few more deals that you might find interesting. But that is not the one that's coming up next. I went up to the second floor. Interestingly enough, I came down from the second floor with nothing in my bag. It's very unusual. Ordinarily, I find things up on the second floor. I did not this last time. Not sure why, but hey, you know, lightning is not going to strike every single time. But I did see this lovely pair of vases, and I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you a picture of the vases that I have, the pair that are very, very similar to this. So take a look. Very, very pretty little pair of Japanese vases. They are not coming home with me. They should come home with me. They are not. I don't know. I have a pair very similar to this, and the pair that I have was a gift from Lisa of DesertDragonworks. So I'm awfully tempted, especially at $14, to take this pair home and keep them company. We'll see. My pair was a gift from Lisa of DesertDragonworks, and that's why every time I see that pair, I think I've got to bring them home. I need them to sit with the ones I have from Lisa, although, I don't know, finding a home where you can stack 4 vases all together, that could be a little tricky. Nevertheless, they just scream at me every time I go in there. So I know you've seen the pieces I got from Lisa because I did that on an unboxing, but take a look just so that you can see them together. What do you think? I really should bring them home. They are so similar. They are not identical, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's the same vase form. But, and this is a good opportunity to discuss that. The Japanese manufacturers, and I've said this repeatedly, In general, one manufacturer to another, the difference is just a title. The employees shifted back and forth from one factory to another. In general, the quality, with the rare exceptions like Noritake and Mieto, were generally all just about the same. And they would fire up these blanks, the unglazed vases. They'd fire them up in abundance, and factories would then purchase large lots of the vases. Their employees would paint them in whatever design or configuration they wanted. Now, with vases like those, I mean, you have the embossed bird design, so you know a bird has to be painted on it. But as far as the flower goes or the colors, the employees painted whatever they were told to paint, possibly even whatever they wanted to paint. I don't know how much personal freedom they had in the matter, but you really did see virtually the same pieces coming out of each of the factories. And that's why I've always said it's not a big deal. Yeah, if you want to be able to identify the manufacturer for your own interest, great. But one manufacturer over another, exceptions being Noritake, Mieto, in general, no, it's not going to affect the quality. It's not going to affect the sale price. And in fact, the people who are painting the vase at that company may have painted them at another company a week earlier. And it's important for us to keep in mind that Japan is a relatively small country with, it's a dense population because they are clustered in cities, but you will have a large population clustered in a small area. So it was normal for employees to go from one factory to another as long as they stayed within the same industry. Nobody really cared. So it's just something cultural about what was going on in Japan in the 20th century that it, and I don't mean to make this sound negative or disparaging. We in America value individuality among this is just above everything else. We are individuals. We are rugged individualists. We just think, Wyatt or the gunslinger and, Hamilton, my goodness, who was a crazy man who really saddled us with mega government, becomes a rap musical. And, our heroes are individualists. That is not the Japanese mindset. Theirs is much more of a collectivist society. They are, see, as an American, it's hard for me to put this in a positive light, which they would. I'm inclined to see this as they are cogs in a machine. That's not how they view it. They are members of a cohesive unit. They have their part to play for the betterment of their society as a whole. I guess that's probably the best way I can do it. And as I say, as an American, my cultural predisposition is so far opposite of that it's hard for me to even see the benefits of it. I'm sure they look at, our rugged individualism and say, oh my God, bang that square peg right back down into that round hole as fast as you can. It's a different mindset. And we need to keep that in mind when we look at any of their art forms, that what we tend to use as our frame of reference is not what they would have used as their frame of reference. So just a little bit of the philosophy behind it. And as I say, no disrespect. You all know I love Asian art. This is like my great passion in life. But so I'm not in any way trying to cast aspersions on the culture that would have produced it. It's just that we are not accustomed to thinking of these things or valuing them. Nevertheless, it contributes to the way they looked at the production of their porcelain. So hopefully that will help, when you start to look at why the different factory names were not that big a deal. Wasn't that big a deal to them. All right, next up. This is interesting. I was filming an Eastlake dresser and mirror, in particular because I wanted to show you the handles, because when we were over at Lux, we talked about replacement handles on an Eastlake piece, and I looked around and couldn't really find any of the original handles so that you could see why these would get replaced. I did at Bedford, had something that is probably the original handles so that you can take a look at that. But what I didn't realize until I was prepping that film clip for this video is sitting on top of the dresser. And I'm going to pause that film when we get to that point. I'm just going to, freeze it for you for a couple of seconds so that you can take a look. There is a little folding carpet chair on top of that Eastlake dresser. And I do want you to just pay a little attention to that, because if you've ever seen those old photos in the Civil War of the guys in front of the tents at the camps and they're sitting on these little chairs, this is what those little chairs look like. This is a Civil War era a collapsible carpet chair. If you pick it up, I could cart it around with 2 fingers. They were very, very light. They were designed to be light. They were very popular in the middle of the 19th century, and they were often called camp chairs because you take them off. You could take them off when you went off hunting, for example. It was something that was designed to be very, very portable. But you may have seen these in those Civil War photographs and wondered why these people had furniture with them. They did. And the reason why is because it was small and light and they could practically fold it up in a little ball and stick it in their pocket. So take a look and notice the handles, which I will point out to you, but also notice that chair. We are in very cramped quarters here, but what I want you to see is this Eastlake mirrored dresser. So I wish I could show you the whole thing, but I cannot back up any farther than I have already. Here, let's take a look at this. When I was speaking about these pressed brass backplates on the Eastlake dressers and bureaus, this is the sort of thing I was talking about. The style does not match the Eastlake piece. They were easily knocked up and banged up. I run my finger across and I can feel what's happened to this one over the years. That was why I made the choice to replace the ones on my dresser. I'm assuming that Lutz made the same choice for the same reason with their bureau. Very, very pretty pieces here. I'm not even sure. I don't know what this wood is. It doesn't seem to be oak. Again, beautiful Eastlake lines. I'm going to see if I can dig out. Here we go. $2.75 for the piece. Not bad. I would want oak for $2.75, but hey, that's me. Okay, like I say, I was so obsessed with the dresser. The chair was like 6 inches in front of my nose, and I did not even notice it until I started prepping the video. So I got to start paying more attention. Next up, I was back on the first floor. As I said, I came down from the second floor. That's where that dresser was. Came down empty-handed, very unusual. So I went around to the little cabinet where Paul, who has a lot of booth space up on the second floor, often has his little special. I bought several things out of his little cabinet because that's usually where he keeps his small porcelain bits. And I just realized the cabinet is for sale. So let's take a look. All the times that I've come by to see what is in this little cabinet, I never noticed the cabinet itself is for sale. $275. Good price. Those cabinets, they have curved glass on the sides, and sometimes they'll have curved glass on the front door as well. Very popular. I see them all over the place. You practically trip over them around here. Other parts of the country, you can't find them for anything, and they are insanely desirable. Interesting thing, I would have to tell you, I don't think they are a good investment. And here's why. I remember pricing out cabinets like that. In fact, I bought one 40 years ago. And you know, the prices were not all that different 40 years ago than they are today. So anything that hasn't had that much of an appreciation in 40 years' time, I would have to say is probably not a really good investment. Who knows? I could be wrong. They could suddenly start skyrocketing next week. But usually with furniture like this, you see a gradual escalation in price over time. I'm not seeing that with these pieces. Although, to be fair, 40 years ago, I was looking in the primary markets in Boston, in Hartford, in New York. And today I am looking in, we're not even a secondary market. We're not even a tertiary market. I've told you before, I have been to universities that are bigger than this city. I swear that is the truth. So who knows? But still, I would have to say, I do not think those pieces are the best kind of investment. But we are going to talk about what is really a good investment a little further along. Okay. Next up, we've got two really sweet Eastlake tables, marble tops. Take a look. We've got a couple of nice Victorian occasional tables here. Really pretty. And when I say Victorian, I'm sort of using the terminology that most people would use. I'm going to call them Eastlake. Well, mostly because they are Eastlake. Lovely pieces. Marble tops, $165 a piece. Pretty pieces. Now those two pieces, in terms of quality of furniture, are comparable to anything that I would have found at Love's, at about half the price. Beautiful occasional tables. I think they're both fantastic. They are extremely typical of the occasional tables that Victorians have in their parlors. And if you ever saw the series I did on decorating throughout history, basically, I think we went back to the 18th century on that. Was not very popular with most of my viewers, so eventually I just sort of Said, okay, fine, we'll get on to other things. The jury came in on that one. But if you did follow that at all, you know that the whole concept of a coffee table is new. Prior to 1940, a coffee table, a cocktail table was sort of just not there. You occasionally saw them in the 1930s, but only in high-end avant-garde living rooms. It was not the norm. You had to be really trendy to have yourself a table for your coffee cup or your cocktail. Prior to that, it was all these occasional tables. They were tea tables, so that you would have a large table surface where you put the tea set and you could pour the tea and so on and so forth. And they were useful table sizes, but they were also standard dining room table height, which is about 30 inches. So those were the tables you saw in the 19th century. And the two that I filmed were really good examples. Excellent condition, both Eastlake, nice marble tops. What can I say? Every now and then I will look at something like that and say, if I just had the room for yet another table, wouldn't that be nice? But, I'd just clutter it up with stuff if I had it anyway. I have to keep that in mind. But anyway, I did want you to have a chance to see that. There are some really good deals, and I absolutely assure you, for most of the country, a beautiful Eastlake marble top table for, what was that, $165, I think they were. Both of them were the same price. Parts of the country, people will just say, oh, you're kidding, and then they start calling up, the local truck rental company saying, I'm going to Pennsylvania to do some shopping. It really is a very good deal. So next up is a piece I bought for me. So let's take a look.
And whenever you look at any Jadeite piece, and of course this is allegedly Jadeite, Fire King Jadeite, we know that's a brand name, Fire King used, 1150 Jadeite measuring cup. This is not for resale. This is simply something I would like for me. I would like a nice measuring cup to sit on my pretty stove. The fact that it's green doesn't hurt. Always exercise caution when buying Jadeite. It can be extremely hard to tell the modern reproduction Jadeite from the vintage. Remember, Fire King, this Jadeite is a trademark item.
Okay, so this piece, absolutely. This came from that cute little shop, the one I always take you into, the little booth that is always so clean and so tidy and so well organized. And they always have some cute little thing that catches my fancy. And this time it was that little green measuring cup. Now, when I was looking at that, I said that was Fire King Jadeite. It is not Fire King. It was actually made by a manufacturer of peanut butter, Cream Dove peanut butter out of Binghamton, New York, and it was probably one of their promotional pieces. Years ago, as everybody knows, and if you don't know, ask your mom, if you bought peanut butter or dishwashing detergent or whatever, you could ordinarily redeem the box tops to get yourself something, or the store would give it out with a purchase of 2 cans of peanut butter, whatever. Promotionals like that in the 20th century, especially the earlier part of the 20th century, were a huge deal. So that's what my little green measuring cup is. It is not Fire King Jadeite, which is a brand name. It is regular Jadeite glass. if you have a concern about what jadeite is, I did a video about this a year and a half ago. And I'll see about putting a link to that, because it's everything you always wanted to know about jadeite. And, basically after you're through with the video, you're going to say, I don't know, I'm not sure I wanted to know that much. But this piece I got because I like keeping a measuring cup out. I use measuring cups all the time. It never seems worthwhile to even put them away, because the instant they go into the cabinet, I take them out again. And this one matches my stove, so it can live on the stove without causing too much fuss. Next piece up. Now, this is a serious investment piece. Take a look.
I almost walked past this piece because it's all covered in pretend cobwebs. This is a mission desk, $110. That is an amazing price. The size of this desk, this is just a huge piece. It's absolutely beautiful. I wish I needed a desk.
All right, that desk was part of Bedford's display. They have a front area near the register where they always do displays. And this time out, it was a Halloween display. So they have like the cobwebs and whatever. And I walked right past it when I walked into the store. And I went back to the register to drop my things off as my bag got heavy, as I was shopping. And just didn't even pay attention to it until it finally caught my eye. And I was like, oh, you're kidding. Now, why would this be a deal? Well, Mission furniture, real Mission furniture, is highly collectible. And within the range of highly collectible case furniture, and that's, like bookcases and dressers, armoires, the wood furniture, high on those lists are things with a modern application. For example, bookcases, dressers, desks, armoires. Much, much more collectible than, for example, small tables, even though I consider them wildly useful. I guess the average buying public wants a lot more use out of it than that. So I would say the number 2 pieces in terms of highly collectible furniture are bookcases and desks. This is a wonderful Mission desk. And when I saw the price tag, $110, and I looked at it, really good condition. Needs to be cleaned up, but still, it has, and I don't know if you can see the similarity in finish. My bookcase was originally fumed. That desk was fumed. That's what that fumed oak finish looks like. Mine has been touched up because it has been refinished over the years. The Mission desk, no, that's probably an original finish. So that is the sort of piece that you put aside, and if you can use it in the meanwhile, fantastic. If you can't, you grab them when you see them, because they are worth a lot more than they were charging. So just put that in your bonnet and see. Next up, I got some little celluloid pieces. And I got these because I like celluloid. A lot of people do. But last time I was at Bedford, I had picked up a couple of celluloid powder boxes or trinket boxes. You can use them for either. In this case, there was one jewelry box one trinket box, and one that I'm pretty sure was a powder box. So here we go.
We've got some little celluloid boxes here. This is described as a powder box. As you can see, it's not. It's actually a little jewelry box. This is also described as a powder box. Not quite sure how that would work. Oh wait, ha, there we go, upside down. That makes more sense. This is just a little trinket box. Celluloid, nice marbled celluloid. And this is a lint brush. Celluloid from this period, and we're talking about stuff that is close to 100 years old, maybe even older. Condition like this where it's barely yellowed at all. Very, very good buys.
Pieces like that are great. They are small, they are easy to ship, they are so dead useful. I actually do have a vintage celluloid powder box that I use for powder. Why not? It's so much nicer than having a modern plastic powder box, which is what they are these days, sitting around there. If you're going to have a powder box, might as well go in style. So I had to grab those. And finally, take a look at this.
Well, this mission desk is coming home with me after all. It's not coming home today. It's going in the back today until I can make the transportation arrangements. $99 because there was a discount. Is that incredible or what? I don't care if I have to stick that in the kitchen and eat breakfast off it. That is going to be mine.
That's right. I could not walk away from that mission desk. I couldn't do it. It will be a while before I'm able to even collect it because it's a very large, heavy piece, and I will sort that out. That won't be a big deal. But I have nowhere to put this. This is probably going to go out into the schoolhouse and hold, my hoard. Just to be honest with you, that's probably what's going to happen to it. I will absolutely make sure it is cleaned up and in top-notch condition, because in all likelihood it will eventually be resold, unless I find I love it too much to part with it. But mission is not my style, and even though I could easily integrate a mission piece in, because I have this large bookcase which kind of dominates the living room, and the oak would match. I'm not sure. That desk is so big and it would be so hard for me to find a spot for it. That's what people are doing these days. People are building their homes, young people, the millennials, are building their homes around their workspace. Do I think this is going to happen less in the future? No. I think this is going to happen more in the future. I think that when we walk away from our current little crisis, we are going to be walking away with a lot more people who are telecommuting. When that happens, yeah, a big desk is going to be hugely popular. And so, have I a concern about that? Not in the least. I will never have a problem finding a buyer. I may have a problem finding a shipping company because I strongly suspect that that's the sort of piece that will go elsewhere. Will I have a problem finding a buyer for the piece? No, no, not at all. So, no concern with that. That is coming home with me. All right, so I know we went way over our usual half-hour time. So sorry about that, but I did want to make sure I got everything in because I will not be seeing you tomorrow. I will be seeing you next on Wordy Wednesday and then book club on Thursday. And I do plan to go back to Bedford this week because there were a couple of things that were there that I didn't pick up that I probably should have. All right. I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves.